join the 28-hour SQL Server Masterclass on the Udemy platform for only $15 instead of $89. Learn how to become a future developer or either a future DBA or performance expert on SQL Server with 150 exercises. The link to the promotion is in the video description. Okay? Want to get started on SQL Server? Then join me. So what is an index cluster? A cluster index, commonly called another index, is an index that will be built like an upside down tree. Roots in the air and leaves at the bottom. It's built like an upside down tree. Okay? So when we create a clusterable index by default, the table will be completely destroyed and reorganized in relation to this index. Okay? So SQL will create a root node, an intermediate node, and what we call a leaf node. For example, SQL will create a root node from A to Z, okay? An intermediate node from A to L, okay? And A to G from the leaf node. I think you have understood the principle. It's find the data as quick as possible at the detail page node. Okay? After that, A to G, H to L, SQL will create two intermediate nodes, M and Z, okay, then M and Q, R and U, and so on, and V to Z, okay? Here we are from A to Z with the creation of the intermediate nodes, and then the leaf nodes, okay, the data page. So the leaf node corresponds to the data pages, okay? So when we create a clusterable index, by default, it creates what we call a tree. That's why you can only have one clusterable index per table, okay? You cannot have more than one. It's impossible. That's why we say with you can a clusterable index. It's the main component of the whole SQL table. It's ordered in relation to its clusterable index. That's why you cannot have more than one. That's like in the example of the books. Okay? So there is nothing better than a demonstration to illustrate all this. So let's go for the structure of the clusterable index. We're gonna create a new database, database Star Wars. Okay, it's done, and let's first create just a simple table named Dark Vador, my old friend. Let's create the table. It's done, and just after create an index cluster on the column name. Okay, let's make a zoom. So the syntax is create cluster index with the following the name of my index, okay, on the table with the column that we want to index. Okay, so I create a clusterable index on this table, and I'm going to insert some data in it, single rows, and it's done. Okay, so we are going to open the cover, and we're gonna to look at the SQL page. We can examine the page with DBCC IND. DBCC IND is not documented by Microsoft. Okay? So DBCC IND with the database name, the table name, and parameter 1. Okay? For parameter 1 for all pages of the clustered index. Okay? So let's go. So the index level has the value of 1. Okay? So it's the root node. Here, the index level has the value 1. When you have index level that has the value 1, it's the root node. So it's going to be the page 233. Okay? Then the rest will be the intermediate node as I showed you earlier. Okay? To see the page in detail with DBCC page, okay, command, there is a trace flag that you have to enable the 3605. Okay? So let's run the two DBCC in the same time. The syntax for the DBCC page is the database name, parameter 1, with the page name, so the 233, and following the 3. 3 is for the detail mode. Okay? So what interests us first is that inside a root, we can see that we already have values at the level of the column. Okay? That is indexed at the level of the clusterer index. We see in the parameters that the table has already been ordered in a certain way. When we create an index, so for example, here Alfred 105, following Alfred with Alfred 11, it's the column that we indexed. Okay, we see it. You can see that SQL has already ordered this data in a certain way. You can see that the name column is replicated on each page of data. You have to know that. It's very important on each page of data. This column name that we have indexed before, just here, create on the name table, the name column, sorry, is this one. Okay, don't remember about this. Don't forget that. So you cannot create in this example or in every table, you cannot create two clustered index on the same table. Okay, you cannot order in it two ways. Okay, never forget this. So we can clearly see the notion of switching between, for example, one Alfred 105 and Alfred 11. Sorry. Okay. So we will take, for example, the page 495. Okay. And you will see that the next page will be the page 247. Okay, let's go for the demo. So we are going to make a DBCC page with the page 495. And you will see that the next page will be this one, 247. Okay, so let's run the DBCC page. And we are going to search the next page in the result of the DBCC page. Okay, so here we can see that the previous page is the 232 and the next page is 247. Okay? We can see that it's ordered in a certain way that the page are moved up more quickly when we ask for the name column which is indexed. Okay? So I put it here. It's well ordered with the clustered index. So in summary, never forget that the index sheets are clustered index table equal the table. Okay? And you never can to create two clustered index on the same table. Okay? So we can see that is structured in a certain way. If you have a very small table, there is no reason to have a clustered index because it won't be requested anyway. We will switch to table scan. We will see the table scan just after in this course. Okay? SQL will determine that a table scan will be much faster than a clustered index. On the other hand, when you start to have medium tables and the one with a high volume, a clustered index is vital for your performance. Okay? So let's go for the next demo.